We will continue from where we left off before lunch. And I will now call on the chairperson of the Standing Committee on Economic Affairs, the Honourable Sakiusa Tumbuna, to table his report.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mr. Speaker, sir, on behalf of the Standing Committee on Economic Affairs, I'm pleased to present the Standing Committee on Economic Affairs Consolidated Review Report on the 2018-2023 Fiji Rice Limited Annual Report. Fiji Rice Limited is important to Fiji because it strengthens national food security by producing locally grown rice, provides a guaranteed market and stable income for farmers, supports rural communities through milling, and helps reduce reliance on imported rice. The company also partners with the government through disbursement of subsidies, mechanization, and climate resilient initiatives, making it a key contributor to Fiji's economic stability and long-term agricultural development. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji remains heavily dependent on imported rice, bringing in approximately 52,000 metric tons annually, valued at around 63 million Fiji dollars, due to limited domestic production capacity and a national sufficiency rate of only 20%. In 2022, local production reached just 10,000 tons, underscoring the substantial supply gap that must be met through imports. The 2023 and 2022 annual reports highlight this dependency as a central challenge, emphasizing the urgent need to expand the local production and reduce the 63 million import bill through targeted government support and sector reforms. To gather more information regarding Fiji Rice Limited 2018-2023 annual report, the committee undertook a visit to the Northern Division from 3rd to 5th of March 2026. The committee engaged directly with Fiji Rice, Ministry of Agriculture, and farmers in Bua, Maduata, and the Korobe. Fiji Rice Limited remains responsible solely for milling this on-the-ground observation provided valuable insight into the broad environment in which operations functions and the challenges affecting the entire rice value chain. The site visit confirmed that Fiji Rice Limited continues to operate under a significant financial constraint. The company is currently insolvent and relies heavily on government grants and subsidies. The committee also observed the pressing need for investment and modernization. Fiji Rice aging mill and drying facilities require upgrading to improve output quality, to reduce operational losses, and support national food security objectives. Throughout the Northern Division, the committee noted gaps in data collection and information sharing between Fiji Rice Limited and the Ministry of Agriculture. Strengthening the systems would enable more accurate production, forecast, and informed decision-making, both operational and at policy levels. Mr. Speaker, sir, another key finding from the site visit was the large amount of arable land that remains underutilized. Many farmers expressed challenges in accessing suitable land through formal tenancy agreement with the Tauke Land Trust Board. As most farmers are currently accessing land through informal arrangements. This highlights the need for improved land allocation process and support mechanisms. And of course, farmer training is also an important priority. The committee further recognized the potential to grow demand for locally produced rice, particularly brown rice, which offers significant health benefits and supports national efforts to combat non-communicable diseases, NCDs. Promotion of local rice through the government procurement process and institution will not only improve the public health outcomes, but also reduce Fiji's reliance on imported rice. I would like to thank the staff of Fiji Rice, the Deputy Secretary, and the extension staff of the Ministry of Agriculture for their cooperation throughout the review process. I would also acknowledge the valuable contributions of my fellow committee members, Honorable Premila Kumar, Honorable Semi Correlem Sau, Honorable Alpatio Dolo, Honorable Kalbati Rabu, and Honorable Selen Kumar in the compilation of this bipartisan report. On behalf of the Standing Committee on Economic Affairs, I present this review report to Parliament and request all members of this August House to take note of the findings in the report. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I thank the Honourable Sagis Tumuna for his report. Now, can you please hand the report to the Secretary General?
Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to Standing Order 121, Clause 5, I hereby move a motion without notice that a debate on the content of the report is initiated at a future sitting. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to second the motion.
Honourable Correlem Sau, the Parliament will now vote. And the question is that a debate on the content of the report is initiated at a future sitting. Does any member oppose? As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Honourable members, we will now move on to item 8 on the order paper. Secretary General.
Consideration of bills.
Honourable members, please note that there will be 3 bills for consideration today. The first one will be for the first reading, and the second and third bills will be for their third readings. We will now deal with the first bill, and I call upon the Minister for Health and Medical Services, the Honourable Dr. Ratu Antonio Lalambalavu, to move the first reading of his bill.
Mr. Speaker, pursuant to Standing Order 84, I move that the Public Health Amendment Bill 2026 be now read for the first time.
Here is a seconder.
Mr. Speaker, sir, I beg to second the motion.
Leader of the government in House, please hand the 4 copies of the bill to the Secretary General. Secretary General.
A bill for an act to amend the Public Health Act 1935, Bill number 4 of 2026.
Honourable members, in accordance with Standing Order 84, Clause 1, the bill has now been read a first time. The bill will now be listed on the order paper and set down for second reading at a future sitting of Parliament. Honourable members, given that the second reading of the bill will be scheduled to a future sitting of Parliament, I encourage all honourable members to study and examine the bill and prepare accordingly, noting that the second reading debate will be premised on the principles and merits of the bill. Thank you, honourable members. Honourable members, we will now deal with the second bill for today. I remind honourable members that pursuant to the resolution of Parliament on Wednesday, the 11th of March 2026, the debate on the bill will be limited to 1 hour. I now call upon the Minister for Public Enterprises and Multi-Ethnic Affairs, Culture, Heritage and Arts, the Honourable Charan Singh, to move his motion.
Mr. Speaker, sir, pursuant to the resolution of Parliament on Wednesday, 11 March, I move that the Higher Salaries Commission Amendment Bill 2026 be debated, voted upon, and be passed.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
Leader of Government in the House, I now call on the Honourable Minister to speak on the motion.
Thank you very much, Honourable Speaker, sir, Honourable Prime Minister, Honourable colleagues of this side of the House and the other side of the House. Mr. Speaker, sir, I am deeply honoured and privileged to stand in this august House as I rise to speak on the Higher Salaries Commission Amendment Bill 2026. Mr. Speaker, the purpose of this bill is to amend Schedule 1 of the Higher Salaries Commission Act 2023 to include 8 additional government bodies under the oversight of the Higher Salaries Commission, bringing a total of the entities to cover to 35. Mr. Speaker, the Higher Salaries Commission plays an important role in the public sector governance framework by providing an independent mechanism responsible for determining the remunerations of chief executive officers and other equivalent executives positions within the specified government entities. This framework assists in ensuring that executive remuneration is assessed through a structured and impartial process guided by clear oversight arrangements. Mr. Speaker, the honourable members will recall that the Higher Salaries Commission was abolished in 2011 following the enactment of the Higher Salaries Act 2011. Under the arrangements, the responsibility for determining the executive remunerations were delegated to various ministers, boards, and authorities. While this approach provided a degree of administrative flexibility, it also resulted in a fragmented process across the different government bodies. The absence of a central oversight mechanism created inconsistency in the manner in which executive remunerations were determined for these bodies. Mr. Speaker, in recognition of these concerns, the government re-established the Higher Salaries Commission in 2023 through the enactment of the Higher Salaries Commission Act, restoring an independent and a centralized framework responsible for determining the salaries and benefits of the chief executive officers and equivalent positions for the bodies that prescribed in the Act. Mr. Speaker, currently there are 27 government bodies listed under Schedule 1 of the Act. This includes a number of key statutory authorities and government control companies that play important roles in delivery of essential services in supporting key sectors of the national economy. Mr. Speaker, the government institutions continue to evolve, and it is important that the legislative framework supporting the Commission is periodically reviewed to ensure that it remains effective and relevant. Following a review undertaken by the Ministry of Public Enterprises in 2024, it was noted that several government control entities are currently not included under the schedule of the Higher Salaries Commission Act. Mr. Speaker, in the absence of the Commission's oversight, remunerations of the chief executive officers or similar type of positions in these entities is presently determined through varying internal arrangements. In some instances, the decisions are made by the respective boards, while in other cases, they are undertaken through a consultation with relevant ministries. While such arrangements may have been established through their respective governing legislations, these government bodies do not provide the same level of independent oversight that the Higher Salaries Commission framework was designed to achieve. Mr. Speaker, in January of this year, Cabinet endorsed amendments to Schedule 1 of the Higher Salaries Commission Act 2023 to include 8 additional government bodies. These entities are Asset Fiji Private Limited, Fijian Competition and Consumer Commission, Fijian Investment Corporation, Fiji Roads Authority, Investment Fiji, Maritime Safety Authority of Fiji, Oceania Shipbuilding Engineering Private Limited, and Public Rental Board. Mr. Speaker, the inclusion of these entities under the scope of Higher Salaries Commission will ensure that the remunerations of the executive position is assessed under the same institutional framework that currently applies to other government controlled bodies. This will promote greater transparency, fairness, consistency in the remuneration package. Mr. Speaker, it is also important to recognize that a number of these organizations operate with financial support from the government or rely on the public resources to carry out the statutory functions. Given this connection to public funds, it is both appropriate and prudent that the remuneration of the most senior executives be subjected to the same independent oversight mechanism that applies to other government bodies already listed under the Act. Mr. Speaker, allow me to now briefly highlight the salient provision of this bill. Firstly, the bill amends Schedule 1 of the Higher Salaries Commission Act 2023 to formally incorporate the 8 additional government entities that I've just outlined. Secondly, the Act allows Schedule 1 to be amended through a notice in Gazette. The inclusion of the said entities require consequential amendments to the respective governing legislations so the authority to determine the remuneration of the chief executive officers rests with the Higher Salaries Commission. The proposed bill therefore makes consequential amendments to the following acts: Fiji Competition and Consumer Commission Act 2010, Fiji Roads Authority Act 2012, Investment Fiji Act 2022, Maritime Safety Authority Act 2009. Mr. Speaker, these consequential amendments will ensure that the relevant legislative framework are properly aligned with the provisions of the Higher Salaries Commission Act. Mr. Speaker, it is important to emphasize that these amendments do not interfere with the operational independence of this organization. Rather, they strengthen the governance arrangement by ensuring that executive remuneration decisions are guided by the independent, consistent process. Mr. Speaker, in closing, this amendment modernizes our legislative landscape, align critical status, and reinforce a coherent system of the oversight without compromising the operational independence of the organization concerned. Ultimately, this bill enhances our public sector governance and supports the effective delivery of our service to our people. Mr. Speaker, with these remarks, I commend the Higher Salaries Commission Amendment Bill 2026 to the August House.
Thank the Honourable Minister. Honourable members, the floor is now open for debate on the motion. I have a list of speakers. Please note each speaker is allocated 5 minutes for his or her intervention. I call first on the Honourable Correa Lavisau.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. And I thank the Honourable Minister for explaining the main merits of the bill before the House. I wish to make a short contribution and raise some issues that I believe must be noted. I will basically outline what I see as effects of this bill, and then look at some consequences, positive and negatives, and highlight it. Just before I carry on, I wanted to ask the Minister, because there seems to be a new company that is owned by government, Oceania Shipbuilding and Engineering Pte. Limited. I have never heard of this company, and I would like, in your reply, if you can just explain the business being run by this company. The Honourable Minister has outlined the basic merits, and the explanation has been very clear. I think one of the issues that I wanted to raise is the consequential to the other companies that are already existing, and this he has outlined are the 4 companies: Fiji Competition Consumer, Fiji Roads Authority, Investment Fiji, and Maritime Safety Authority. I think the critical issue here is that these are technical fields, and although the CEOs will be, because they are technical officers, they will be appointed by the board or the overarching authority that looks after that. The CEO is appointed by them, but their salary and conditions will still be dictated by the High Salary Commission. While these entities can appoint the CEO, the salary, as I've said, and the benefits will still be set. That's my understanding, Honourable Minister, but you can correct me. I think the rationale provided by the Minister sounds good, and it will introduce a standardized salary determination process will ensure transparency and fairness, and also reduce excessive and inconsistent remuneration across government control entities. Some of the key positives that I can see is the greater transparency that will be derived from this high salary commission dictating the salary and conditions right across the board. Centralized salary determination process will reduce opaque and inconsistent remuneration decision within state-owned entities. Secondly, the consistency across the government entities. The amendment promotes uniformity in executive compensation, ensuring salaries across statutory bodies and government companies follows a consistent framework. And thirdly, the reduction of risk of excessive CEO pay. Independent oversight by the High Salaries Commission will prevent unjustified salary increases or disproportionate benefit packages. There's a need to be aware of a few issues such as reduced autonomy of statutory bodies, the risk of over-centralization, possible talent attraction issues, and potential political influence. Those, Mr. Speakers, are the issues that I wish to highlight to the Honourable Minister, just reading through the bill. And I just wanted to make sure that whatever the outcome comes out of the bill is positive for the government entities that will be controlled by the High Salaries Commission. Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Sir.
I thank the Honourable Correa Sao. I call next on the Minister for Lands, Honourable Wasaroma.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. In 2011, Mr. Speaker, the Fiji High Salaries Commission was abolished. In 2023, this coalition government took the deliberate decision to restore it, and we did so because the imperatives that existed in 1983 still also exist, urgent and valid as of today. Now let me express why. First, we need a central, independent mechanism for setting top-level public sector pay. A fragmented ad hoc approach simply does not work in a modern economy. We require one body, one set of consistent standards, one rigorous methodology applied across chief executives and senior leaders in every major government control entity, statutory body, and authorities. Secondly, the period after 2011 exposed a high cost of abolition. The system criticized, rightly, for its lack of commercial sophistication, its opacity, its delays, and its inconsistencies. Responsibilities fell to the Prime Minister and ministers, the very individuals with inherent political stakes in the outcome. Independent reviews were commissioned, yet often sidelined or inconsistently applied. The result, Mr. Speaker, pay disparities, questionable value for money, and a growing perception that proximity to power, rather than merit and market realities, determine the rewards. Reinstating a dedicated, professional commission corrects these failures. It brings expertise in economics, remuneration strategy, and public sector governance to bear. It levels the playing field, and it builds trust. Let us be candid about what followed 2011, abolition under the previous administration. A fragmented system emerged. Inconsistencies were multiplied, and decisions shifted from principles to proximity. Critics, including many in this House, rightly pointed out that this opened the door to access, to awards that favored the connected, and to a steady erosion of public confidence. Examples are hard to find, Mr. Speaker, and they are also not abstract.
some years ago, a foreigner CEO at the Land Transport Authority received over $500,000 annually over functions that, frankly, could be managed with far less complexity. Yet one of Fiji's own very outstanding contributors, Abraham Simpson, an exceptional engineer and change manager who transformed the Land Transport Authority into the effective institution it became, was compensated at roughly a fifth of that level in the mid-2000s. We sometimes undervalue our homegrown talents simply because they are Fijian-born and they are Fijian-bred. Similarly, the CEO of a major broadcasting entity drew just over $400,000 in base salary, supplemented by bonus approaching $250,000 over time, including a $25,000 payment in a COVID year, where many Fijians had faced hardship. As the Honorable Member of Parliament, Usamate, always aptly puts, it's flabbergasting. These are not isolated anecdotes that illustrate a deeper issue. When oversight is weak, public institutions risk appearing to serve the few at the top rather than the many they exist to serve. That, Mr. Speaker, is unacceptable. The amendment before us today extends that protection further by adding entities, Mr. Speaker, to Schedule 1, including key state-owned companies that my colleague, the Honorable Charanjit Singh, had spoken about, statutory bodies and public authorities. Adding 4 more, we ensure that the top salaries are determined independently, outside the influence of the very structures that they report to. Transparency, Mr. Speaker, consistency, and accountability. Honorable Speaker, in an era where fiscal discipline, public trust, and inclusive growth are not negotiable, small island nations like ours, this is prudent governance in action. I therefore urge all the honorable members, colleagues across the aisle, and indeed the entire House, to join us in supporting the amendment bill and let us send a very clear, unified message to Fiji. In Fiji, public money is sacred, public leadership is accountable, and fairness is not negotiable. Thank you, Mr. Speaker.
Thank the Minister, Honourable Vasarongo. Now call on the Honourable Alvik Maharaj.
Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Honorable Speaker, at the outset, I would like to mention this, that to Honorable Prime Minister, that he really played smart this time by having Honorable Charanjit Singh as the Minister for Enterprise, because this might be the first time in past 3 years that you might actually see that opposition is agreeing to Honorable Charanjit Singh that he is actually brought to the Parliament. So very smart, yeah, smart move to get opposition on your side in agreeing to this particular bill that is before us. Nevertheless, Honorable Speaker, as I have suggested that we as opposition, we do appreciate that this particular bill coming in, and we agree with the content as well, and the rationale that is actually being given by Honorable Charanjit Singh as the Minister, we do agree to it. Bringing this bill will actually bring in greater public transparency, fiscal responsibility, stronger governance, and alignment of policy. We did see that there were certain agencies that were brought under Higher Salaries Commission, but unfortunately there were some that were left out, and the 8 that were left out are now coming into the picture again. And also, while we actually do acknowledge the pros, we do need to acknowledge the cons as well. There are some of these agencies which are very specific, so we need to be mindful if we are actually bringing in experts to lead this expert, not in the sense bringing somebody from outside, but somebody from that industry if we need expertise. And if we are bringing them at CEO levels, they might actually get attracted by a higher salary. So something for the Higher Salaries Commission to always be flexible so that we don't lose this kind of people if we are not able to negotiate the right salaries that is supposed to pay to them. and bringing it under one centralized system. We just hope that this is not, does not create a bureaucratic delay for the organization to proceed if they are without a leader or without a CEO. Because in this kind of institute, we definitely need leaders to be up to par so that organizations are run properly and provides the service that they are actually intended for. The other thing is that I wanted to talk about, Honorable Speaker, is while we are actually discussing about higher salaries commission, I think we had emoluments committee recommendation, Honorable Speaker, with regards to the salaries of all the MPs. While we are actually doing this under transparency, I strongly believe that we as MPs, we should not anymore decide on our own salary. I believe there was a recommendation that there should be an independent commission, and we need to acknowledge that as well, that any salary increase for MPs needs to go to an independent commission rather than an emoluments committee which consists of members of parliament themselves. Yeah. It's just a recommendation, Honorable Speaker, something to consider, as it was part of, it was part of a committee.
Order.
Honorable Speaker. So this is something that we from opposition side, we think it's a good bill, Honorable Speaker, and we support the motion before the House. Vinaka.
I thank the Honourable Maharaj. We'll now call on the Minister for Works, the Honourable Roti Soal.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. So, I'd like to thank Honourable Minister for bringing up this bill, higher salaries. One of, as you see, a lot of, a few of the entities within my ministry is there, LTA, Fiji Roads Authority is listed there, myself. I do agree with Honourable Coronel Abisau in terms of the technical nature of these entities and the leadership in it. So engineers and other technical people, which, as we can see today, in terms of the skills moving out of the country, it is also necessary to look at it in that context. That was one of the issues which was discussed before this bill came. But if you look at Section 20, it sort of alleviates that. For let me just read it out. Any salary or which may tend to lead to unreasonable disparities or inappropriate relativities with any salary determined by the Commission under Section 16 may, before agreeing or committing itself to the payment, consult with the Commission. So the board can still consult with the Commission on that. And referring to Section 16, it clearly states that the board must consider and determine. So when you do that, normally they would look at data from market surveys. For example, in Fiji, we have the annual remuneration service by PricewaterhouseCoopers. That could be one of the comparators. And demographic and market factors, fair competition, and of course, budget availability. It's already mentioned by Honorable Maharaj. These entities at some stage might not look at only the local market, but also the external labor market, such as Australia and New Zealand. So there needs to be flexibility in that. And those two sections, Section 16 and Section 20, will allow the High Salaries Commission to have that flexibility and consult with the board if the board feels that the remuneration which is there needs to be amended to try to attract someone who will whose qualifications and experience will be needed at a particular point in time for a specific organization. Navaleo.
Thank the Honourable Minister. I now call on the Leader of the Opposition, the Honourable Seru Ratu.
Thank you, Honourable Speaker, sir. Speaker, sir, I rise to contribute to the debate on the Higher Salaries Commission Amendment Bill 2026, as previously presented by the Honourable Minister. Good to have bills and motions for the minister so that he can be in the House in the afternoons. Honorable Speaker, sir. A lot has been said, but probably I'll just highlight two issues, Honorable Speaker, sir. One is just, as government has stated their intention behind this amendment, to create a more transparent and consistent process for determining the executive remuneration across government-controlled entities. The explanatory note further suggests that this approach will promote fairness, accountability, and reduce the risk of excessive or inconsistent salary practices across the public sector. Mr. Speaker, the objectives are, these are objectives that no reasonable member of this House can oppose. Transparency, accountability, and responsible use of public resources are principles that must always guide the governance of public institutions in our country. The only two key issues, Honorable Speaker, that I want to raise is in the determination of executive remuneration under a single commission, it may indeed create a level of uniformity and oversight across government entities. But also, Mr. Speaker, we need to ask ourselves whether the proposed approach strikes the right balance between oversight and institutional independence. I know, Honorable Speaker, that government has serious issues with retention, and probably I have always raised this before when annual reports are debated in this House, while the Commission has this responsibility, probably in terms of flexibility, if we can also be ready to provide counter-offer packages, because most of our good locals, they take up the jobs while waiting for better opportunities. And when those opportunities do come, government keeps losing, despite all the investments that we've made on this human capital of ours. I've highlighted previously in instances like they do in Papua New Guinea, where government has to be ready to provide counter offers to these specialized skills if there are offers coming from other agencies. And that brings me to my second point, Honorable Speaker, sir. While we are talking about uniformity and consistency, but we need to understand the fact that some of these entities are very technical and in terms of the skills, like Fiji Roads Authority, Investment Fiji, Ocean Shipbuilding, as asked by the Honorable. So we need to be sensitive to these highly specialized and commercially sensitive sectors, Honorable Speaker, sir, so that they are given the appropriate remuneration and terms and conditions therefore. And I hope that this change will not end up in executives have to experience constraint due to rigid and centralized salary structures. To attract the best people, we also need to ensure that the remuneration packages are reasonable so that we can get the best so that they can move the industries forward, Honorable Speaker. So thank you once again, and we support the bill.
I thank the Leader of the Opposition. I will now call upon the Honourable Minister to speak in reply.
Thank you very much, Honorable Speaker. I'll be very short in this. It is pleasing to note that this motion has received considerable support from the honourable members of this August House, together with a number of constructive suggestions and thoughtful recommendations. Such contribution will reflect the collective commitment of this House to strengthen the governance, improving the accountability, and ensuring that the legislative framework remains responsive to the needs of our institution and the people we serve. I wish to acknowledge and appreciate the insights shared during the deliberations as they add value to the process and help refine the intent and implementation of this important amendment. Mr. Speaker, as I noted earlier, the Higher Service Commission Amendment Bill needs to be expedited in order to establish a consistent and independent mechanism determining a fair remuneration for the executive appointed to these 8 bodies. Therefore, promoting a greater integrity and strengthening the good governance in this process. In conclusion, I can call on the members of the Honourable House to support this motion. But just before sitting down, Honourable Semi, your query about this Oceania Shipbuilding Engineering Private Limited, which is a fully government-owned company, was established on 9 December 2024 with a primary objective to operate a proposed new shipbuilding repair ship facility. The company is currently not performing any activities but does not have staffs, but has been established to implement the shipbuilding project upon completion of the study. Vinaka.
Thank the Minister. The Parliament will now vote. The question is pursuant to the resolution of Parliament on Wednesday, 11th of March 2026, that the Higher Salaries Commission Amendment Bill 2026 be debated, voted upon, and be passed. Does any member oppose the motion? As no member opposes, the motion is agreed to unanimously. Secretary General.
A bill for an act to amend the Higher Salaries Commission Act 2023 and for related matters enacted by the Parliament of the Republic of Fiji.
Honourable members, we will now deal with the third and final bill for today. I remind honourable members that pursuant to the resolution of Parliament on Thursday, the 12th of March 2026, the debate on the bill will be limited to 1 hour. But before I call on the Honourable Prime Minister, just to alert members, it is the intention of the Chair to suspend our proceedings before 3:30 p.m. So we will go as far as we can with the debate on the bill until then, before I suspend the proceedings, if necessary. So I now call upon the Prime Minister and Minister of Civil Services, Strategic Planning, National Development and Statistics, the Honourable Devendra Bhukat, to move his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Pursuant to a resolution of Parliament on Thursday, the 12th of March, I move that the Fiji National University Amendment Bill, number 3 of 26, be debated, voted upon, and do pass.
Thank you. Is there a seconder?
Mr. Speaker, I beg to second the motion.
Leader of Government in the House. I now call on the Honourable the Prime Minister to speak on his motion.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. I rise to support and commend this motion, this bill, of the Fiji National University Amendment Bill, third reading, which I presented yesterday. Speaker, sir, the bill reflects the coalition government's strong commitment to repositioning the Fiji National University as a dynamic and innovative tertiary education institution that responds effectively to the skills requirement of all sectors of our economy in an environment shaped by increased labor mobility across borders and government vision in pursuit of modernity and a high-income nation by 2050. I commend the Ministry of Education, the Minister for Education, and its staff for providing the much-needed direction to the university during its formative years, particularly as
a dual pathway university in the Pacific. As a nation, we are defined by our uniqueness, a nation diverse in our cultures and tradition, a nation that has shown exceptional resilience. Our national university, too, has withstood many challenges. It is now positioned to take its unique position in the world of higher education and learning. As a nation, we must now develop our workforce to respond to these global challenges, customize our workforce to the specific needs of our industries and firms, and prepare our people for nation building and the opportunities that are ahead of us. Both these programs have delivered skills for our private and public sectors in yesteryears. We have also witnessed an increasing movement of our skilled and trained labor abroad in search of new employment opportunities. As a nation, we cannot stop labor mobility. We have been benefiting from remittances sent by our people working overseas. There is an increase in our diaspora returning and investing here in Fiji. This has brought about skill shortages. The mobility has brought about skill shortages in key industries, which affected their productivity and constrained our nation's growth potential in the past few years. Government has had to act instantaneously. We made changes to our immigration work permit system. And Mr. Speaker, sir, our national university is the pride of our nation. It requires our nation's full attention and government support. The university's operations are fully funded by our taxpayers. Mr. Speaker, sir, the university has a unique multi-sectoral character in terms of the 5 colleges and the programs they each offer. To align FNU's mandate, functions, and power to Fiji whole of government National Development Plan 2025-2026 and Vision 2050, the key development priorities. FNU is Fiji's flagship dual-sector tertiary institution, and it supports government's national human capital and skills pipeline across multiple sectors, including the National Strategic Human Resources Plan, and FNU is connected to different ministries of the Fiji Public Service and expected to partner with government to support national development, outcomes, and priorities. These colleges, Mr. Speaker, sir, and the alignment to sectoral ministries are as follows. The College of Medicine, Nursing and Health Sciences, ministry responsible for health and medical services. College of Humanities, Education and Law, ministry responsible for education, teacher education, and cross-engagement with the ministry responsible for justice, legal affairs, social services, home affairs, cultures and languages, as well as women and climate change and environment. College of Business and Hotel and Tourism Studies, ministry responsible for tourism, trade, commerce, MSME development, hospitality, and border control, and the Fiji Learning Institute for Public Service. College of Agriculture, Fisheries and Forestry, ministry is responsible for agriculture, fisheries and forestry. College of Engineering and Technical Vocational Training, previously as College of Engineering, Science and Technology, ministry is responsible for infrastructure, public works, transport, energy, and employment and productivity. National Training and Productivity Center, ministry responsible for employment, productivity, and work relations. Pacific Center for Marine Studies, previously the Fiji Maritime Academy, now the ministry responsible for maritime, transport, and shipping. And in development, Speaker, sir, Pacific Center of Aviation Studies, the 90, that's the one in 90, ministry responsible civil aviation. Mr. Speaker, sir, I believe that as a nation, we must increase our investment in our human capital resources and relevant skills by aligning FNU and its program to specific sector needs, increase our productivity levels, grow our economy, and let the market forces determine terms and conditions and reward for the systems in our labor market. It is now time to set a new course for our nation's Fiji National University, a course that positions the FNU to achieve higher quality research, high level of learning and teaching, and relevancy of the curriculum offerings to the needs of our domestic industries and investors, including the adoption of new technologies and artificial intelligence. FNU shall be specifically tailored to make skills that can substantially transform our economy. I commend the motion to the House, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I thank the Honorable Prime Minister. Honorable members, the floor is now open for debate. I have a list of speakers. Each one of you will have 5 minutes each. And I will first call on the Honorable Joseph Nand.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. I rise to contribute to the debate before the House. The Speaker said the issues engulfing FNU is becoming a national embarrassment. It goes to expose a systemic breakdown of governance, accountability, and respect for the rule of law. The Speaker says something in the air is not right. Something is happening to FNU, and the Parliament has been asked to pretend it is normal. The Speaker said for 3 years now, we have watched a pattern unfold. A slow, systematic weakening of Fiji National University, a national institution that once trained our nurses, our teachers, our engineers, our farmers, are now reduced, sidelined, and pushed into the shadows. Funding cut, programs discontinued, campuses shrinking, staff uncertain, and students confused. And now, Mr. Speaker, we are told, don't worry, it's just a small amendment, just a technical change, just moving FNU to another ministry. The Speaker when you step back and look at the bigger picture, the pattern becomes impossible to ignore. While FNU has been weakened, another institution has been rising rapidly, aggressively, and extraordinary government support. A relatively new institution has received millions in the last 3 budgets. Speaker a provider that has been elevated, while FNU, the Fiji National University, has been quietly pushed aside. Speaker you don't need to be a detective to see that these two stories are connected. Speaker you weaken the National University, you starve it of resources, you remove its technical programs, you shift it out of Ministry of Education, and then you tell the country that another institution will fill the gap. The Speaker the bill is not about a definition, it's about a direction that has never been explained to the public, a direction that has never been justified with evidence, a direction that raises more questions than answers. The Speaker something is fishy, something is not adding up, and the people of Fiji deserve transparency. The Speaker this Parliament cannot allow the National University to be quietly restructured through the back door. We cannot allow public institutions to be weakened while the private institutions are strengthened. We cannot allow the future of our young ones to be shaped by decisions that are hidden behind technical amendments. The Speaker FNU belongs to the people of Fiji. It's a public asset, it is a national institution. And any changes to its governance, its direction, or its papers must be debated openly, honestly, and fully. The Speaker this bill does not give us that. This bill hides more than it reveals. This bill is a symptom of much larger shift, a shift that the government has refused to explain. So Speaker until this House receives a full, transparent, evidence-based justification for weakening of FNU and rise of some other institution, we cannot support these amendments. The people of Fiji deserve answers, and today we stand to demand them. So Speaker I strongly oppose this bill, and this government must stop hoodwinking the people of Fiji. Thank you, sir.
I thank the Honorable Nand. I call next on the Honorable Acting Attorney, Honorable Shiramitarang.
Mr. Speaker, I rise to contribute in support of the Fiji National University Bill 2026, because the bill is not simply about the university, it is about the future of our people and the future of our nation. I agree with Honorable Nand that a nation that invests in education invests in its own future. However, hearing from him a generalization, as if there is some mischief, bad faith on the part of government. Let me just clear to you, I have here a bill. There is only one section that has been amended, and it reads, Section 3 of the Fiji National University Act 2009 is amended in the definition of minister by deleting tertiary education in the Republic of Fiji and substituting the administration in this act. The ministerial responsibility on the other page says the act comes under the responsibility of the minister responsible for the administration of this act. Mr. Speaker, sir, the ministerial alignment of the Fiji National University to any minister is not new. If you look globally, the Prime Minister has also been held this responsibility in other jurisdictions. But then at university, the Prime Minister is responsible for that in Malaysia, University of Tokyo in Japan, University of Indonesia, Academy of Police and Development in Vietnam, and National Institute of Governance and Sustainable Development in Egypt, and of course the regional university in China. At the National University of Singapore, the Prime Minister appoints a Chancellor. The ministerial alignment of the Fiji National University to the office of the Prime Minister, or any other minister for that matter, is a reflection of government's deeper commitment to education as a national priority. This realignment sends a strong message to the people of Fiji. Education is not the responsibility of one ministry alone. It is the responsibility of the entire nation. It reflects the whole government approach to strengthening our education system and ensuring that institutions such as FNU are fully supported to deliver quality education and training. This approach also aligns closely with the priorities set in the National Development Plan 2025 to 2029 and Vision 2050, which emphasizes the inclusive development, national unity, and empowerment of our people. At the center of this national framework is a simple but powerful principle: investing in people. This alignment also strengthens the collaboration between the university and government ministry, Mr. Speaker, sir, and of course the private sector. Through stronger partnership, we can ensure a more balanced and holistic approach to education. Continuous improvement in education programs so they remain aligned with industry needs. Greater employment opportunities for graduates, and stronger institutional support for the university as it continues to grow and innovate. The Fiji National University plays a critical role in this national vision. Through this dual sector education model, the university provides both higher education and technical and vocational training. This ensures that our students graduate not only with academic qualifications, but also with practical skills that are directly relevant to the needs of the economy and our communities. What makes this institution particularly important is its commitment to reaching rural and remote communities. For many young people in these areas, access to higher education was only a distant dream. Today, through the Fiji National University, those dreams are becoming a reality. Young Fijians from across our islands now have the opportunity to acquire skills, build careers, support their families, and contribute to national progress. The realignment, Mr. Speaker, sir, if I emphasize again, strengthens the university role as a national center for research and innovation. With close alignment with the national development priorities and strong engagement with the Ministry of Strategic Planning and National Development and Statistics, research and innovation can play a greater role in shaping policies and solutions that support our national growth. These benefits of this partnership are already evident across our country. The increase in remittance continue to support families, uplift communities, and contribute significantly to our national economy. At the end of the day, the bill is not simply about administrative changes or institutional governance. It is about opportunity. It is about ensuring that every young Fijian, regardless of where they come from, has a chance to gain education skills to build a better Fiji. For this reason, Mr. Speaker, sir, I support the Fiji National University Bill 2026. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
I thank the Honourable Acting Attorney. I call next on the Honourable Hem Chand.
Speaker, sir, at the outset, it is important that we place this bill within its proper context. The Fiji National University Act 2009 establishes the governance structure of the university and clearly outlines the role of the minister responsible for tertiary education in relation to the oversight of the institution. The current legislative framework already provides the minister responsible for tertiary education with significant influence over the governance of the university, including key appointments connected to the administration of the university and its governing bodies. The Act therefore already provides the government of the day with the mechanisms necessary to exercise oversight of the institution through the existing education portfolio. Mr. Speaker, sir, the amendment before this House does not alter the substantive powers provided under the Act. Instead, it seeks to change the definition of the minister from the minister responsible for tertiary education to the minister responsible for the administration of the Act. In practical terms, what this amendment does is simply facilitate the transfer of administrative responsibility for the university from one ministerial portfolio to another. The question that therefore arises is, why is this amendment necessary at this particular point in time? Mr. Speaker, sir, the timing of this amendment raises serious concerns. It comes at a time when the Fiji National University Council itself has already reportedly lodged a complaint with the Fiji Independent Commission Against Corruption concerning the Vice Chancellor of the university. This is a matter of significant public interest and institutional integrity. At a time when such serious issues are under investigation, it is deeply troubling that the government is simultaneously seeking to alter the ministerial oversight framework governing the university. Mr. Speaker, sir, the public will naturally question whether these developments are connected. The perception created by the timing of this amendment risks undermining public confidence in the governance of one of our most important national institutions. Mr. Speaker, sir, we must also recall that there had already been a public announcement by the government that the ministry responsible for strategic planning, national development, and statistics had taken over oversight of Fiji National University. However, the law as it currently stands clearly places responsibility for tertiary education institutions within the education portfolio. This means that the administrative shift had effectively been announced before the law was amended. Mr. Speaker, sir, this raises a fundamental issue of governance. Laws enacted by this Parliament must guide executive action, not the other way around. The executive cannot make administrative decisions first and then come to Parliament seeking to regularize those decisions through legislative amendments. What we appear to be witnessing, Mr. Speaker, sir, is an attempt to correct or legitimize an administrative decision that should not have been made without the proper legal framework in place. Mr. Speaker, sir, the Fiji National University is a national institution of immense importance. It plays a vital role in providing tertiary education, technical training, and workforce development for our country. Thousands of young Fijians rely on this institution to build their skills and secure opportunities for employment. Such an institution must never be treated as a political tool. Universities must be governed with stability, consistency, and respect for institutional integrity. Decisions affecting their governance should be guided by educational policy considerations and national development objectives, not by political convenience. Mr. Speaker, sir, Fiji National University is not a political football to be kicked from one ministry to another. Institutions of higher learning require certainty and stability in governance arrangement. Constant shifts in ministerial oversight create unnecessary uncertainty within the institution and raise concerns among staff, students, and stakeholders. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, for the opportunity.
I thank the Honorable M. Chan for his contribution. The next speaker would have been the Minister of Education. He's not here. I'll call on Honorable Tony Osmath.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. The Fiji National University is a very important entity for our country, and I'm a person that worked for 21 years in an organization that became part of FNU. So it's something that's very important for me, Mr. Speaker. One of the points that has been made by the Honorable Prime Minister is that one of the reasons is to align what happens at FNU with national priorities. We already have those mechanisms. We already have those mechanisms in place. The minister appoints the board members. He gives instructions on policies. If you go, in our organization in Fiji, we have set up the Higher Education Commission of Fiji, which determines where money is sent to which universities for what programs. You already have the systems in place to direct FNU what to do. You do not need to do this. Now, Mr. Speaker, sir, all this is what has happened in New Zealand, Australia, Australian National University, even in Singapore. And the Attorney General talked about Singapore, it being in the Prime Minister's office. That is not true. Just ask Dr. Google, National University of Singapore, the board members are appointed by the Minister for Education. So what I'm saying, there are systems already in place to make this happen. It's obviously the problem is the governance systems are not working. Appointing the wrong members perhaps, not having the strong systems in place to make sure that they align their programs with national interests. The systems are already in place. The problem here, you're not making the systems work because the players, maybe the wrong players are there, whatever it is that is happening, Mr. Speaker, sir. There are some very major trends that are happening in our country, Mr. Speaker, sir. And if you just look, for instance, at the budget trends about the money that's going to FNU at the moment, over the past few years, Mr. Speaker, sir, in the year 2021, the budget to FNU was 80 million. By the year 2025, it's gone down to 55 million. A 30% reduction in 4 years. Our national university, 30% reduction in these years. In how many years? In 4 years. 30%. At the same time, you have the new organization, a private sector organization, coming up with its increase in its budget has increased by 600% in 3 years. And, okay, let me say this. It doesn't, I'm not too much interested whether programs take place in the private sector or in the private sector to make sure that we get skills going. But it seems to me there's been a decimation of what's happening in our national university. Things that, now, these are the facts and figures. What are you talking about? Mr. Speaker, sir. So if you look at that's one of the big differences that we're having. There's been a strategic shift. And you look at the trends about what's happening over these past few years, there's been a shift in the way things are moving. Now, they talked about Singapore. What? Did somebody say something? So what I'm saying, Mr. Speaker, sir, is there's been and on top of that, some of the things that we're talking about here. It seems that there's been conflict between the Council and the Vice-Chancellor. And I've listened to both, and both of these are friends of mine. But there's been a complaint that has been lodged in FICAC. One of the things that comes to our mind is this a ploy to move attention away from the internal rumblings within the FNU itself, the conflict between the Council and the Vice-Chancellor, and trying to move that out and move it across to the Prime Minister. Because if you're talking about aligning what happens with FNU with the national priorities, the mechanisms are already there. They are there. And it happens in all the national universities globally. You talk about National University of Singapore, you look at it, it's governed by the Ministry for Education. So what I'm saying is there some sort of a...
Point of order. Please take a seat, honourable member.
62-1, when a speaking member must not impute improper motives. This was by two of them, linking the motion to the so-called FICAC investigation, which are two separate issues.
Yes, I take that on board. Improper motive, it is. Thank you. Proceed, Honourable Osmath.
These are the fact, Mr. Speaker, sir, it's nothing imputed. There was a whistleblower report in January of 2025. Allegations reported bias, discrimination in management decisions, bullying, victimization of staff, management, abuse of authority within the university leadership. The Council raised a complaint at FICAC. That is a fact. Not an imputation, it is a fact. So, Mr. Prime Minister, sir, The Prime Minister, the Honorable Prime Minister, has a prerogative to do so. He has decided not to talk to the chairman, the former chairman. I ask why? Why not? He was an appointment of government. Is another question to be answered. If this change takes place, will that investigation at FICAC still continue? Will it still continue or not? Are you, the ones who call yourselves the government that listens, are going to listen, that people that were appointed by government, the chairperson, the former chairperson of FNU? Will you also listen to the former chairperson of the Higher Education Commission of Fiji, Steve Chan, to hear what they have to say? Because if you really want to understand what is going on, first you have got to listen. Listen to all the players, get all the stories. Don't just look at things from one side. So I think the motives are good, but I don't think it's necessary because the mechanisms are already in place. And there's a lot of other stuff that is happening that needs to be dealt with, and we don't sit here reassured that the things that need to be cleaned up, and we don't know who's right or who's wrong, but it needs to be investigated because we're talking about our national university, our most important entity for developing skilled workers for the industries of this country. With those words, Mr. Speaker, sir, we do not support this bill.
I thank the Honorable Usamate. I recognize the Honorable Professor Biman Prasad. You have 3.5 minutes, Honorable Member.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir, and thank you for allowing me to speak. There are 3 points that I want to make in response to the 3 speakers. Honorable Usumate is always very loud, but within that loudness, he tries to misinform and mislead what's happening. The Honorable Prime Minister has said very clearly that this is an amendment to bring the University of Fiji governance under his direct responsibility as Minister responsible for strategic planning. So there is no contradiction, Honorable Hemchand, with respect to the governance structure and the shift to the ministerial responsibility to the Honorable Prime Minister, to the Strategic Planning Ministry. So there is no contradiction. Honorable Usumate, he knows this, Mr. Speaker, but he is trying to mislead. When he was talking about the budget of the university, the government, we provide millions of dollars in TEL scholarship, to $153 million in total, and a big chunk of that goes to the university. So when you look at a budget for an institution funded by government, it is not run only on government budget. In the case of the University of the South Pacific, there are other countries we give the contribution. In the case of the Fiji National University, every single cent that is spent on every single student that goes to the FNU is an income for that. You didn't add that. You are just looking at the budget. So, don't mislead in the strength of the university's finances because you are ignoring its total budget. When we do the budget, when the Minister for Education or Higher Education does that, they do that. So please don't mislead. Honorable Joseph Nunn, again, completely missed the point. He didn't even read the bill properly, as the Honorable Attorney General said. So, no, let's be honest. The FNU is an important institution. What's the point of order?
It's okay. I will
You want to come and sit here, Honorable Usumate? Right, thank you. Can
prohibited reference
Let's have.
on 62 and 60, prohibited references. He is just basically attacking the people that have members that have spoken from this act. It's a different subject altogether that we are discussing.
Honorable point is taken.
I thought that point of order is irrelevant, Mr. Speaker. I was responding on the facts.
Yes.
He cannot dictate what is relevant and not relevant within. It is you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
It is relevant.
It is relevant. Thank you, Honorable Speaker. Just on the point I was saying, that Honorable Joseph Nunn went on the tangent, talking on a completely different subject to what the bill was. The bill, as the Honorable Attorney General said, is simply shifting the responsibility of the minister responsible to another minister. And that's the Prime Minister and the Strategic Planning Minister. That's all it is. Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you, Honorable Professor Prasad, I will now give the floor to the Honorable Prime Minister to speak in reply.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker, sir. Mindful of the time constraints that we have and your directive that we try and round up our proceedings by 3:30, I'll be very brief. I respect all the views that have been expressed, and I reiterate that the amendment to the FNU Act allows independent checks and balances on the policy role of the FNU Council and operational and administrative role of the FNU management. Where irregularities are detected, as some have implied here, and substantive evidence complied, both the Council and the management will be independently investigated. There have been whistleblower reports who have drawn government's attention to the purported cases of irregularities, but government shall only proceed to investigate based on verified substantive evidence. That does not take the onus out of the investigating agencies. Mr. Speaker, sir, the FNU Act Amendment 2026 is an opportunity to place a special and relevant and elevated focus on the future of the National University, to nurture it into a highly professional education, learning, teaching and research institution like internationally recognized universities around the world, but unique in its own way. The FNU will be a key catalyst for sustained economic growth and shall be at the very heart of our government's vision of achieving a high-income country status by 2050, supplying the skills needed for Fiji as the hub of the Blue Pacific. And I'm excited of the opportunities the university will undertake in developing our country's skills needs to serve and work in transformational investment projects. Speakers, a few years ago, I was called to come to the aid of one of our regional neighbors, and when I was asked to debrief by some Australian authorities, I mentioned to them it's like driving along a highway and you see somebody being hit by a hit-and-run driver, and you dutifully take them to hospital, and they are administered with blood transfusion, and we bring the person back to good health. The very first thing he or she recognizes the blood transfusion equipment and vigorously complains to the doctor, "Why are you doing this? I belong to this religion or this sect. I'm not allowed to receive anybody else's blood." But he was alive. So this is what we're doing for FNU, sir. Bring it back, resuscitating it, let it run as best it can be. I commend the bill before the House, Mr. Speaker, sir.
Thank you. The Parliament will now vote. The question is pursuant to the resolution of Parliament on Thursday, 12th of March 2026, that the Fiji National University Amendment Bill 2026 be debated, voted upon, and be passed. Does any member oppose the motion? There being opposition, the Parliament will now vote. Open the vote. Close the vote.
The results of the vote are as follows: 30 ayes, 6 noes, and 19 have not voted.
Thirty ayes, 6 noes, and 19 not voted. The bill is passed. Secretary General.
A bill for an act to amend the Fiji National University Act 2009, enacted by the Parliament of the Republic of Fiji.
Happily, honorable members, we will not, there is no need to suspend. We will go on to adjournment motion. Secretary General,
Adjournment.
I now call on the Leader of the Government in Parliament, the Honorable Rob Filipe Tuisawau, to move his motion.
Mr. Speaker, I move that Parliament adjourns until Monday, 27 April 2026 at 9:30 a.m.
Is there a seconder?
Honorable Speaker, I second the motion.
Honorable Bainivalu. The Parliament will now vote on the motion. The question is that Parliament adjourns until Monday, 27th of April 2026 at 9:30 a.m. Does any member oppose the motion? Since no member opposes, the motion is therefore agreed to unanimously. Honorable members, that concludes the end of our sitting for this week. At this juncture, I wish to thank all of you for your responses to His Excellency's most gracious speech. Thank you, honorable members. I will now declare Parliament adjourned until Monday, 27th of April, 2026 at 9:30.